ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Raw February 18th review. Now, usually after a pay-per-view, particularly in this part of the year, this is the build for the next pay-per-view. In this case, WrestleMania 29. We already know this, we already know it, we already love it. But the thing is, if the first show that opens the build to WrestleMania is not good, expectations are very, very low. And I was disappointed. This show was not good. Don't get me wrong. Good things were done in it. Very good things were done in it. But in general, I believe that the writing team for WWE went on vacation right after Elimination Chamber. And we got the backup writers doing the booking and the writing for the show tonight. Or that about a week before Elimination Chamber came out, they already got the scripts written out. They already got the structure of the card for Elimination Chamber written out. But then the writing team went on vacation. And then the backup writing team took over. I've said this once before, that there has to be two different writing teams. One, the primary, and a secondary. We got the secondary. And the way the show opened with Cena and Punk complained again about what happened. Getting screwed. Fine. You don't have to like it. It went with the storyline. But Cena acting like nothing ever happened, that Elimination Chamber was stupid. Saying nothing about the Shield kicking his ass. It was like he never was there. And I agree with the Sleg Daddy. It makes no sense for not saying anything about it. And then later in the night, when Ryback and Sheamus were talking to I think it was Josh Matthews. I didn't look at who was the one who was doing the interview. I think it was Josh. If it was Matt, I'm sorry. But you know what? Seeing Sheamus and Ryback at each other's throats and no John Cena really didn't make a lot of sense. And then when they throw Chris into it, a man who was just brought back, who they thought, a lot of people thought he was going to be pushed. And maybe we'll have something interesting with him. When the match came with the Shield with the All-Stars with the substitute, Chris does the job for the Shield. What the fuck? And that's not a good what the fuck like the Elimination Chamber. This made no sense. The booking was terrible. And it just gets worse. Look what happened with Damien and Kofi Kingston. Yes, it's a match that was thrown together. Yes, we already know that Kofi is nothing but a jobber now. He's just a super jobber bitch. But no reason for Damien to attack him. No reason to beat the hell out of him and hit him in the head with the mic. Except for R-Truth to come back. They wanted to make R-Truth's return a dramatic thing, which I felt it wasn't. Seeing R-Truth is cool. I like R-Truth. But this? What did it prove? They didn't bring him back properly. They didn't. Using a controversy to bring him back didn't prove anything. It just shows, like I said before in a couple of my reviews, the WWE is desperate. Something is wrong here, ladies and gentlemen. There were some good things in this show, but this particular, not even a match? Are you seriously telling me that the only way they can bring back R-Truth is to cause controversy for Kofi, for him to come back? They couldn't just bring him back. They couldn't just give him a segment in the ring. They could have gave him a segment in the ring. People still like R-Truth. And in New Orleans, he would get over. They could have just let him come to the ring, do a little segment. You could have had Damien come out just to make a challenge. It didn't have to be that way. So it was just garbage. And here's another one. I'm getting rid of all the bad stuff first. Wade Barrett. End Dead Man Down. Showing the movie where he's barely seen in it. And I can say one thing when it came to Sheamus, he made a valid point. He doesn't talk in the movie. I've heard at least from some of the critics that Wade Barrett doesn't, that like for the previews, that he just doesn't really talk. He's just a muscle guy there. But it's not the point. Why was there Sheamus there instead of Bo Dallas? Bo Dallas is supposed to be in a program with Wade Barrett. No matter if Bo Dallas wins the title or not, he's supposed to be the one that's in this program. Why didn't they put Bo there? Why wasn't Bo put on the damn Titantron instead of Sheamus? Sheamus is supposed to be dealing with the Shield. What was the point of him dealing with Wade Barrett? The people who structured this show really didn't know what they were doing. I think they were really stupid or drunk. They didn't notice what they were supposed to be doing. But I can say that there were some things done. Now, I find out that the Dancing Giants are now called the Dancing Bears. What the fuck? They're not Russian. Usually Dancing Bears were known in Russia mostly. Not saying they didn't have any in America or anywhere else in the world, but they really got started in the Soviet Union when you saw Dancing Bears in the Soviet Union. These guys are not Soviets. They're not from the Soviet bloc. They're not for the European Union. They're American. Come on. But the thing I say here, and I hope people understand, this was still a good thing. Yes, Tensai and Brodus Clay got the win. They did. Together. And it was Brodus Clay who did finally get the pin. But I believe the person who was pushed here the most, if you look into it, is Naomi. Look, when Wednesday Night Main Event rolled around 2 weeks ago, when she was with Cameron and when she was with Apsana and Tamina, the crowd was over for her. They were. They were interested in seeing her, not because she has a big fat ass, a nice pair of boobs, and a gorgeous face. It's because they liked how she wrestled, even though it was brief. And you look again, Naomi opened it. She went up against Rosa Mendez, who is a good-looking woman, but is no Naomi. And not only did Naomi kick her ass, she head scissors Epico. Epico, for all people. Think about it for a minute. Girls don't usually intermix with guys normally. Only a few can do that. One was Beth Phoenix. Two was Natalya. Because they're big, strong enough women that can actually get away with it. But Naomi? Seriously? She's being pushed. Subtly pushed. I have a feeling that from time to time we're going to see Naomi get a couple more scenes with Tensai and Brodus Clay. Or by herself, or with Cameron. You're going to see more of Naomi in the ring. I believe now they realize after what happened in Wednesday Night Event that she has potential. I'm telling you right now that sooner or later you're going to see her in a match. It doesn't matter who. It could be Layla. It could be Oksana. It could be with Cameron if there's a fight. It could be with anybody on the roster. It could even be with, I'm about to say Angelina Love. I'm sorry, I still miss Angelina. But the point is that eventually you're going to see her in the ring more and more, and eventually you might see her slowly fade away from the Funkadactyls. Or they'll keep her and maybe put the belt on her as a Funkadactyl. You never know. But I believe this is a subtle hint to give people maybe an interest to see if she can get away with it. Because look how much the people applauded for her. Both those times, people like Naomi. So I'm going to move on. Now, another thing is, the segments I'm going to say were not good, but they were good. At least one of them. The Cain and Daniel Bryan segment. It wasn't that good. It wasn't. But the match between Daniel Bryan and the Trucker was not bad. Having the Trucker, Jack Swagger, get over on Daniel Bryan by submission was a good thing. Because now they're pushing him. They did the State of the Union address in the ring, which was actually good. And I do have to say this personally, I'm an independent. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not a progressive. I'm a direct independent. But I can see, obviously, they're taking pokes at the Republican Party. You can say whatever side you really believe is better. It doesn't matter. But you can obviously see that most of the time when it comes to wrestling, they usually take pokes at the Republican Party because that usually brings up ratings. If you agree with it, I can understand. If you don't agree with it, I understand. But this is done to get ratings. If you get offended by what was said, because even if it is true, or if you don't agree that it's true, this is supposed to really bring you in. Just like the Seg Daddy said, what is valid right now, being brought into a product, is a very smart move. It is. Bringing in controversy of immigration. No matter if you agree that people deserve to come across the border, or you don't agree because people don't deserve to come across the border, it makes no difference. Having it there is a good thing. My own views, you can check out my Zane of the View about what's going on. But the point is that it was a good thing they did this. They're pushing Jack Swagger in the proper direction. Like the Seg Daddy said, seeing maybe the catchphrase that's on the flag, we treat me, wait a minute, don't tread me. I can understand that's a smart thing to do. And hopefully, like I've been saying, they need to change the ring attire. And now, Zed Copeland's YouTube channel will reinforce that. They realized that when it came to Zack Ryder and his Long Island IC show, will get things over. This is a perfect way to do it. Not everyone is on YouTube. Not everyone cares about looking at Facebook or even Twitter all the time because it can become overwhelming. But sometimes when you do it properly, people will go and look. And seeing this, the YouTube video in the part of the night, the State of the Union, and then the match with Daniel Bryan was very well structured. I enjoyed it. It was good. The Vicky and Heyman segment, I didn't get. I don't know why. Then the in-ring. Seeing, and I'm doing this in two parts. Part one, when it came to McMahon versus Heyman the next week. Why? We're already going to get Cena next week. I'm going to get to that when it comes to The Rock. But you know what? We're going to get Vince and Kenny McMahon 2 weeks supposedly removed from hip surgery, facing Heyman in the ring as a fight. Seriously makes no sense. Seeing Brad Maddox, and I'm going to stay in my... No, I forgot. It's not there. It's down there. I'm going to stay in my title. Brad Maddox is the boss now of Raw. Will make sense. I've said this already before, and I'll say it again. Brad Maddox is the boss of the Shield. He's faking it so he can get in power. Now, the only thing he has to do, being supposedly the assistant to the managing supervisor of Raw, the only thing he has to do is fuck her over, and then he'll become the head of Raw, and then he'll finally reveal that he is the head of the Shield, and say, these are my minions. I am the Maddox. I am beef mode. Nobody can get over me. But taking away from that, his segment was okay. I enjoyed it. I'm glad now he's going to be working with Vicky. He'll get more prominent time. He doesn't need to wrestle. Eventually he will wrestle. We know this. But right now, let him be in a position where he can do good. He has charisma. He has some good mic skills. I really believe that this is the best thing for him. Now, when it came to... Finally, we have the match of the night. Cain and Randy Orton. We've seen it so many times. Randy wins by RKO because of interference or distraction, you want to call it, by Daniel Bryan. Cain didn't go to Daniel Bryan's match, but Daniel Bryan went to Cain. What? I don't see how they're structuring this split off from these two properly. They're not. They could have been doing it better. You know, if they really wanted to split these guys off, they should have let Rogue Squad... Sorry. I'm upset about this. I am. Rogue Scholars didn't need to be broken up. They could have just gave them the belts. And then they would have done the split from there. But because they chose to keep the belts on them, and now they're showing the split, which is done sloppily, I didn't like it. I honestly believe that this split is going to be done very badly. By the time WrestleMania comes around, this split is going to be nastily bad. And whoever gets the belts, they're not going to have a good rub dealing with the tag team champions. Remember, to get somewhere, if you're in a tag team division, which there is none, you need to get a rub from the previous champions. Well, the ones who are about to hand over to you. You need to have them structured properly so when you get handed over the belts, it will be more dramatic. It'll mean more to the belt. It'll mean more for you. And I don't see that happening. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And, you know, now closing. When it came to The Rock, I can say, and I agree with the Off the Rope show, they have been screaming for years a change of belt. I got bored of the belt by 2011. I didn't mind the belt. I didn't think about it often enough to really see, like I said, I didn't really understand the ins and outs of the business. You need change. And by 2010 to 11, I realized that with John Cena, they really needed change. Now, the thing I noticed when it came to CM Punk, even though he had a huge run, the problem here is he didn't have enough, he wasn't over with the crowd. He doesn't have any star power. That's the reason why they didn't try to do the switch with the belt. He is a transitional champion. He is a mid-carder. He has potential to be a good champion if they structured him right, but they never did. So they realized that there was no point in trying to switch the belt with him. That's the reason why The Rock did it. This new belt. Looking at the belt really carefully, it's not a bad belt. It reminds me of what happened with Jeff Hardy in 2011 when he was given the option to get a new belt. That was before he had the, pretty much, when he was given the creature belt. No matter how much you liked the belt or you didn't, it was a good change to TNA to get a new belt in. But as you know, he carries both belts. It means nothing. The belt sucks. It was better for them to just stick with the older belt because he wasn't structured properly, neither was the belt. Now, this belt, having the two Brahma Bulls on the side, but no faceplate for the name. Maybe the champion could be taken out because it looks like it's unscrewable. I might be wrong. And it could be a smaller champion with the name under it, split in half like a V. Sheamus, Cena, whatever. It's a possibility they can take that plate out and replace it with something else. Maybe champion on one side and John Cena, or I'm hoping, you know, we're going to get John Cena. But whoever. One side is going to be maybe champion. The other side is going to have the actual name. It would be a difference having it on an angle. Do I believe it's a good belt? It's not the point if I agree or disagree. I'm just glad they changed the belt. Having a change of belt will give us a new breath of fresh air. They needed The Rock to do this. Now at the end, when you see Cena come out, doesn't say anything about the belt. Just pulls his shirt down like you can't see me and pretty much hustle loyalty and respect, and gets knocked behind the head with the old original belt that he brought in 8 years ago. And then you see CM Punk pointing and saying simply, I want that one, like a little kid. I want that one. I want that one, mommy. What the hell? It would have been better for him not to say nothing. Knock out Cena, point, and then leave it at that. That's how I felt about it. Last week, it was week before last, it was a mistake what happened with CM Punk. CM Punk should never spoke after he took the belt from The Rock. He should have just held it up and then walked away. Or they could have cut at him holding it up. That would have been better than having a small promo segment. The same thing again here. For me personally, if you believe it was alright for him to talk, even though you couldn't really directly hear him, tell me below. I do have a couple other things to say before I give my rating. One, when The Rock came out, they should have turned the music off or tell the band not to play. Simply, the band was supposed to be there to enhance The Rock. They should have never played the music for The Rock. They should let the band play the music with the drums. But they didn't do that. So both were playing, and it felt stupid that the band was still playing while the music was playing. It sounded terrible. Either one or the other. Two, now that we know that Cena and Punk, sorry, I'm still a little sick. Cena and Punk are going to have their match next week. Now, I'm sure I didn't say anything about this earlier, but really, It felt too easy. And the feeling I have is because after the performance of the Elimination Chamber with Punk and The Rock, this may turn into a triple threat. Because it's obvious that The Rock is very ring rusty. And they may need more for The Rock to work with. They can't just leave it on Cena's shoulders. Like I said in my Elimination Chamber review, you're going to need more. So it's a possibility that this could become a triple threat after the match next week. Really, that's what I'm feeling about it. Now, how do I rate this show? C+. This show was just bad. A lot of good things were done. Brad Maddox is now in charge. Naomi is now possibly being gently pushed. The new belt, which brought it up from being a D. If there was nothing there, this would have been a D show. But that belt brought it up to a C+. Almost a B- rating, but I can't give it a B-. There was not really much build towards it, really. I just can't do it. I can't. The Wade Barrett part was stupid. The Shield with the All-Stars but the substitute was stupid. John Cena not really acknowledging that match even happened was stupid. The trucker being pushed very well now was good, but that still doesn't justify what happened. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel, and I will be getting soon as possible my next debate of the week, the rebuilding of the Divas division. Have a good day and have a good night.